My arranged marriage to Chloe Vaughn was set up when we were kids. At 16, with no family left, I moved in with the Vaughns. We lived under the same roof for 8 years, but she never loved me. On the day of our engagement ceremony, Chloe's childhood friend Evan showed up and said he was scared. Chloe left me standing on the stage alone, in front of all the guests. That night, I took off the ring and moved out of the Vaughn's house. It was pouring rain, and she recklessly stopped the cab I was in, looking stubborn. "Mark," she said, "I'm not letting you leave." I slowly rolled down the car window, met her tear-filled eyes, and said seriously, "But Chloe, I never really wanted to marry you." Before our engagement, Chloe and her wealthy friends threw a lavish farewell to single life party on a yacht at the harbor. Her grandfather, Mr. Harrison, asked me to bring her home. I arrived at the yacht right when the party was at its peak. On the deck, people were mingling, and the sea breeze stirred the lively scene of men and women. In the distance, the sea was gradually getting swallowed by darkness, but the ship was as bright as day. Amidst the lively atmosphere, Chloe sat in the shadows, casually peeling an orange. Next to her was Evan, her childhood friend whom I hadn't seen in a while. He was back just in time for our engagement. The next day, there would be a burst of explosions and confetti, and champagne bottles would be shaken and sprayed. The scene was grand and indulgent. No one noticed me at the party, apart from Evan. As if sensing my presence, he suddenly looked up at me with a challenging and proud gaze, just like many years ago. Then he smirked, leaned towards Chloe, and with a slightly annoyed and whiny voice asked, "Chloe, are they peeled yet? I want to eat." Chloe, who was usually bad-tempered, was always indulgent with Evan. She didn't even glance up and instead handed him a white orange slice. Evan frowned and mumbled, "Not sweet." Despite his words, she carefully arranged the peeled orange slices on the plate in front of him. Everything seemed natural. As I walked to the center of the deck, someone finally noticed me. It was one of Chloe's close friends. Initially surprised, the man then furrowed his brows, clearly displeased and unwelcoming. "Mark? What are you doing here? Can't wait to check up on her before you're even engaged? Could you be a little less blatant?" Since it was announced that Chloe and I were engaged, she never looked me in the eye. Plus, I was an orphan taken in by the Vaughns because of past family ties, so her friends never took me seriously. He spoke without reservation. I walked past him and finally stood in front of Chloe. Ignoring his words, I just quietly looked at her. "Chloe, it's late. Can you wrap it up? Mr. Harrison asked me to bring you home." Chloe just gave me a brief glance, her eyes deep, and with a mocking tone she replied, "You're bringing orders from Mr. Harrison? Then why are you asking me?" Her tone was cold, making the atmosphere between us tense, but Evan broke the ice with a charming smile. "Mark, it's been ages. Don't rush off. Have a drink with us." Not wanting to ruin the mood with my presence, Chloe's closest brother waved it off. "You're here already. Have a drink." I didn't nod, but Evan had already filled a glass and raised it to me. Chloe remained indifferent, watching from the sidelines. Caught in a difficult position and eager to get Chloe out of there, I was about to take the glass and down it in one go, when Evan, right as our glasses touched, poured his drink over his head instead. The cold liquid blurred my vision. I heard Evan's voice sneering in my ear. "Just a pet dog. Don't take things too seriously. Taking her away from us? Mark, aren't you overestimating yourself a bit much?" Evan always thought I was just a pet dog by Chloe's side. My parents died in a car accident when I was very young. I was raised by my grandparents. At 16, with my only relative, my grandma, passing away, I became a complete orphan. In my loneliness, Mr. Harrison took me in. Back then, Chloe's grandpa, Mr. Harrison, was just starting from scratch. During his hardest times, my grandparents took him in for 3 months. Later on, he prospered, making the Vaughns a wealthy family. Mr. Harrison intended to return the kindness with money, but my grandparents firmly refused. After my grandpa passed away from illness, and with my grandma being quite elderly, their only concern was entrusted to the Vaughns. On her deathbed, Grandma repeatedly mumbled one question: "Does the promise still hold?" Mr. Harrison wiped his tears and sobbingly replied, "Definitely." So I went to the Vaughns with Mr. Harrison. I'd never lived in such a luxurious house, nor seen people so opulent and shining in all they do. When I first arrived at the Vaughns, Chloe was in the music room with Evan, practicing piano. Mr. Harrison held my hand, cheerfully introducing me. "This is Mark. He's part of our family now." At that moment, we didn't know what those words really meant. I only knew I had a home. The bright sun streamed through large windows, casting light on Evan's flawless face and Chloe's expensive outfit. It shone on her sparkling diamond necklace and his spotless white clothes. It also shined on my worn-out shoes and my nervous fingers. A breeze came through the half-open window, making the curtains flutter in front of me, clearly separating me from them. Chloe didn't get up. After quietly looking me over for a moment, she asked me her first question. "What's your name?" Her voice was unique to a 17-year-old girl, clear and pleasant, yet lacking much emotion. But Evan was enthusiastic, shaking my hand and examining me like a new toy. "Your eyelashes are so long, and your eyes are beautiful." Though uncomfortable, I didn't dare show it, only answering with blurry eyes, "Mark. My name is Mark." Perhaps thinking that conversations among peers could ease my awkwardness, Mr. Harrison left me there, quietly exiting the music room. Just as the door closed, Evan's face instantly chilled as he sat back at the piano, fiercely striking the keys. After the harsh noise ceased, in a flat tone, he said, "Just after your dad sent away Bingo, Mr. Harrison rushed to give you a new pet. He really treasures you." From his indifferent tone, I detected a hint of disdain. Chloe continued playing the piano, her long fingers dancing over the keys. Amid the soothing music, I heard her lower her voice, saying, "Don't talk nonsense. He's not like Bingo." I later learned Bingo was her dog of 6 years, sent away by her controlling father during her rebellious refusal to study abroad. I was indeed different from Bingo. In her heart, how could I compare to Bingo at all? Evan had every reason to be proud and stand tall. A sole heir to a wealthy family, he was a classic golden child. Evan's family was close to the Vaughns, and Evan had been Chloe's childhood friend. Hence, he understandably resented this outsider, me. But he was skilled at acting. In Mr. Harrison's presence, he always seemed to like me. But in Chloe's, I was merely an insignificant toy. Finally alone with him in a corner, the mischievous boy's true colors showed. He broke the only photo I had with my grandma, stitched my new clothes prepared by Mr. Harrison, and smashed the cake intended for us by the housekeeper on my head. Don't think getting into the Vaughns means you can treat Chloe like a sister, or think of yourself as some kind of young master. Lowly people always stay lowly. Back then, I couldn't fathom how a boy with such angelic looks could hide a devil's touch. I was afraid of him. Yet he crouched down, took a tissue, and carefully wiped my face. tears mixed with cream smeared all over my face. Evan's smirk was captivating. "Be quiet, or else others might say I'm bullying you." I clenched my fist. "But you are bullying me." Evan laughed like it was the funniest thing he'd heard. "You mustn't take words lightly. You're just living under someone's roof. You wouldn't really want to trouble the Va, would you? Our family is so close to the Varsorns. Do you think they'd confront us for you? Or would they believe you?" His arrogant words rendered me speechless. Through my tears, living under someone's roof doesn't allow me to say no. So I silently endured Evan. During his pre-college years, ages 17 to 22, Evan would bully me. 26-year-old Evan was even more cocky. Even after 4 years apart, at 26, he insulted me, and it came naturally to him. I wiped away the alcohol-induced tears from my eyes, picked up a champagne bottle from nearby, cracked it open at the table's edge, and poured its contents all over him. My movements were quick and fluid. Evan screamed, dodging backwards, grabbing a porcelain plate which might have smashed onto my head a second later. But Chloe suddenly got up, flipping the table in the process. The sharp sound of breaking echoed around. The music stopped, and everyone nearby fell silent. Only the sound of waves hitting the shore remained. "Enough." She looked down at me, smiling angrily. "Wow, Mr. Harrison's choice for a husband knows how to ruin a party with flair." Amid shattered glass, I stood quietly before her. I wanted to say, "Chloe, he's bullying me. Didn't you see?" Evan tormented me for years, but there was no point in that argument. She disliked me and wouldn't stand up for me. She grabbed my arm and pulled me along. Chloe strode forward rigidly, her voice sharp. "Go home. My fiancé has to show a report." She bit hard on the word fiancé, making it particularly mocking. The city neon reflected off the pitch-black car windows, leaving only a fleeting silhouette amid the flickering lights. Chloe's outline on the glass was indistinct, too. She was leaning back, pretending to doze. Maybe she sensed my gaze because her eyelids lifted, saying, "Why so eager to admire your caged bird?" I thought I was used to Chloe's sharp words digging into my chest like a knife. But in this moment, in the confined space filled with the smell of booze, staring into her deep, dark eyes, my breath caught unexpectedly. I pressed my lips together. "Chloe, can't we talk like normal people? Stop being so hostile." She just enjoyed my look of pain and sneered, "Who are you putting on the sad act for? You're getting engaged tomorrow. Shouldn't you be thrilled?" I lowered my eyelids. Inside, my voice was barely above a whisper, but it seemed to echo around the car. "Truth is, I don't really want to, but My words were abruptly cut off by her sudden move. She leaned in suddenly, her kiss devoid of warmth, crashing down furiously. Though our position was intimate, her eyes were stormy, betraying no joy, only punishment. My lips stung. Blood seeped. Just as her hand touched my shoulder, I finally pulled away. A crisp sound echoed. Chloe's face turned sideways. "Have you lost it?" She didn't seem to care, touching her reddened cheek, laughing without warmth. "Didn't you come with Mr. Harrison to the Vaughns to be one of them? So why the act? Doesn't controlling my fate like the rest feel great?" Her every word hit my chest like a heavy hammer. I trembled all over, fumbling against the car window, choking up. "Stop. I want out." Somehow, I stumbled onto the window switch. The window dropped suddenly, letting the wind roar in. I was squinting against it. The driver, startled, slammed on the brakes. I scrambled out of the car, steadying myself on the curb as I dry heaved. From the car, the driver called out hesitantly, "Sir, are you all right?" Chloe's voice was indifferent, not even glancing over. "Drive on." Through the half-lowered window, I glimpsed her jaw tightly set. In my mind, her face just didn't line up with the girl she used to be. Once, she wasn't like this at all. Before Chloe knew about our childhood engagement, she was really good to me. The day I first got cornered and warned by Evan, I cried myself to sleep in the storage room. At night, Chloe found me. Her slender figure stood framed in the door. The moonlight stretched her shadow into the room where I huddled. With a playful smile, she teased, "I thought the storage attracted mice, but I see someone's building rivers in secret." She flipped on the light, closed the door, and walked up to me. No looking down on me, she crouched to meet my gaze. "Why the tears? Something upset you?" I wiped my eyes furiously. Evan's warning still ringing in my ears, I muttered an excuse. "I just miss my mom." My parents died when I was young. Our poor family didn't even have a photo to remember her by. Yet somehow this resonated emotionally with Chloe too. A flicker of sadness passed over the girl's face. "Oh, we're kind of similar then. I don't have a mom either." She said it like telling an ordinary story. "My folks weren't in love," she continued. "To be exact, that woman never loved my dad. A business marriage bound their lives together. A cold mother, an obsessed father. It was a tragic setup, and the woman never got his love, until he pushed his lover in front of her. See, this is who I truly love." The woman broke down, and on a freezing winter night her life ended in a scarlet bathtub. A lady from a noble family, destroyed in an unhealthy marriage. Her voice was choked towards the end. I wanted to comfort her, but the words wouldn't come. The girl laughed self-deprecatingly next to me. "He didn't just push my mom over the edge. Whatever mattered to me, whatever I wanted or chased, he crushed with self-righteous hands." I realized then that even a girl as composed as Chloe had her vulnerabilities. We shared our youthful sorrows and pains. I finally mustered the courage to talk about Evan, to ask her what I should do when bullied by him. Should I endure it forever? But those words were destined to be swallowed because she talked about Evan. When I lost my dad, in my weakest state, Evan stood by and said, "Don't cry, I'll share my dad with you." Evan was so good. Evan was probably her salvation too, just like how her presence saved me now. She wouldn't believe me. So I followed her narrative. "Yet Evan, he just seems great." I loved dance, but I couldn't afford any formal lessons. So Chloe found me the best dance teacher. She and the new teacher always encouraged me. "Mark, you really have talent." When I struggled to keep up in class or solve a tough problem, Chloe would explain it a few times patiently. Even when I was too dense to get it, she'd laugh and say, "Mark, you're so dense. Do your white rice lunches even turn into carbs?" Someone once mocked me for being a country bumpkin, and she flew into a rage. That night, various outfits filled my wardrobe. Back then, Chloe was really good to me. So good that from the garden, standing at the music room's French window, watching them sit close, a morceau, little bitterness arose in my heart. Evan sat facing Chloe, whispering something I couldn't hear. She bent forward slightly, lips turning up at times, sunshine dancing over her face. She listened closely. As I rubbed my chest, the books were wrong. There's no sweetness to this. When young hearts are stirred, it's bittersweet. My senior year of high school, Chloe went to college. She didn't give in after bingo was sent away, going on to study at the nation's top university instead of abroad. Evan made the same choice as her, and we didn't meet for 6 months or so. Finally, on the eve of Lunar New Year, Chloe came back. In just half a year, she returned with a much more defined figure. Her voice had a touch of deeper richness. I dashed down the stairs toward her, yet when I burst through the villa's doorway, my steps ground to a halt. Behind her, Evan stood, face grim, eyes as sharp as daggers as he looked my way. My body stiffened unexpectedly, unsure of what to do. Chloe stepped forward instead, her fingertip lightly tapping my forehead. "After 6 months, you don't recognize me, Mark. How heartless." All the reunion speeches I practiced spiraled back into my throat. I was left with little choice but to swallow the bitter ache and say, "Chloe, welcome home." Outside, fireworks lit up the night. Brilliant yet brief, casting colors across the scene. Despite the festive noise, the dining table felt stuck in unease. Mr. Harrison dropped his chopsticks and stormed to his room, huffing, "Can't you let me have some peace over the holiday?" Chloe's dad, Mr. Vaughn, sat across the table, his expression dark as storm clouds. "Chloe, how many times have I told you not to defy me?" I rarely exchanged words with Chloe's dad, who wasn't around often. The few times we'd met, he struck me as a stern, imposing man. Right now, his presence was even more overpowering. In that heavy atmosphere, I ate cautiously, not daring to leave. But Chloe casually got up, pulling my hand without a glance to her dad. "Mark, let's go see the fireworks." The front door slammed behind us, louder than the firecracker bursts outside. With all the fireworks set off, the night sky bloomed in bright, quick flashes. Standing amid the fading sparks and smoke, Chloe leaned down and spoke low. "Mark, you're turning 18 soon." Her Lunar New Year wish for me. "Mark, in the new year, be a free adult." Freedom. That word seemed to run through every belief she held. I still didn't grasp the invisible cage around her, only vaguely pondering what to wish her back. Empty words were meaningless in our connection, but heartfelt words failed to form. I tilted my head, deep in thought, when a crash behind us drew our attention. Chloe and I turned to see her father standing over a shattered, expensive snowboard. "Chloe, I told you, no skiing. It doesn't advance your studies or career." His fury was clear. Yet, Chloe chuckled softly. "Daddy, there's plenty of snowboards." Her father's voice grew, harsher, his patience reaching its limit. "Don't test me, Chloe." She didn't seem fazed, her attitude indifferent. "What else you got? You drove my mom to despair, broke my bike, sent off my bingo. What else can you threaten me with?" Then she looked at me. Her gaze was unfamiliar, almost hostile. "Oh, right. Him." Everything she cared for, anyone important. Why hadn't he driven me away? To control her. She gripped my arm and dragged me to her father's side. The pain from her grip almost made me doubt she cared at all. She was just trying to provoke her dad. Just as she was confirming my suspicions, Chloe sneered. "Is it because Mr. Harrison brought him to me, and you can't send him away, right? Is it because my bingo is just a dog with no backing in your eyes, so after I've raised him for 6 years you think you can just take him away?" My heart felt like it had been blasted open with a huge hole. Turns out Bingo was a pet dog she raised. She was using me to lash out at Chloe's dad, to stand up for her Bingo. That was the first time I felt Chloe seemed like a stranger. I had so many questions for her. Did she really care about me? Did she see me as family? Or just another pet to keep her entertained after her beloved dog? Or worse, at least that night, had she used me as a tool to rebel against her father's control? But our memories tend to blur over painful ones. I can't really remember how things eased between Chloe and me. I just know on my 18th birthday, Mr. Harrison decided to throw a big bash, and the invites went out to the whole business circle. Chloe rushed from school to get there. I really stepped into adulthood on that day. She gave me an expensive badge, its diamonds silently gleaming. "Mark, I hope you hold on to your dreams," she told me. In the ballroom, Chloe, dressed in a white gown, played a birthday tune for me in front of all the guests. It was also that day Mr. Harrison publicly announced that Chloe and I had been betrothed since childhood. I was her fiancé, her only future husband as the heir of the Vaughns. The always composed and serene girl changed her expression on the spot. She picked up a piano stool and smashed it against the expensive piano, repeatedly smashing it to bits. The sudden violence shocked everyone, and screams erupted around us. Her eyes glistened with tears and turned red, yet her words were icy. "Playing child bride, huh? Isn't it disgusting? Everything from the day I was born has been arranged. Even who I marry has been decided, right?" Mr. Harrison, fuming, raised his cane to strike her. "You disgraceful thing! What foolishness are you spewing?" Chloe didn't dodge, endured the blows with a cold sneer. "I thought you'd be different from my dad, but you're even better at orchestrating my life. From the moment he joined our family, am I just a pawn you can manipulate at will? A puppet born only to pose for you?" That night, Evan was also on the verge of tears. Chloe she couldn't marry someone as despicable as him, right? It would be my fault, preventing true lovers from being together. But it was also the first time I learned about this. Looking at her bloodshot eyes, my heart felt like it plunged into an icy abyss. Turns out that promise Grandma valued so much on her deathbed was this: I absolutely couldn't get engaged to Chloe. Being forced to marry someone she didn't love, she would hate me for it. That night, I knelt in Mr. Harrison's study, my eyes wet and pleading. "Mr. Harrison, just cancel the engagement. Chloe doesn't want to marry me, and I don't want to marry her either. I can aspire to reach for the moon, but I don't want to marry someone who sees me as insignificant." Everything I said was from my heart, but Mr. Harrison thought I was gravely wronged. "Good child. I know Chloe went overboard today. Don't worry. I've already said you're part of the Vaughns now, and I'll make sure you don't suffer indignities because of this." Still, I shook my head, urgent tears streaming down. "I don't want this. We will all meet someone we fall for eventually." Yet Mr. Harrison stroked my head, his loving words with a touch of finality. "Good child. Neither of you can decide about this engagement. Not even I can. This is a vow I made to your grandparents. Now, the matter's already breaking the town's peace. I have to be someone who keeps his promises. It was also your grandma's dying wish, a thing pondered by your grandpa till his last day. I see you as my true grandson. Joining the Vaughns is a great outcome for you." All my arguments were swallowed back. Vow and wish felt like mountainous weights pressing down. Mr. Harrison called Chloe into the study. In front of me, he let the cane drop upon Chloe's back. "I won't let you mess around like today again. How dare you say such hurtful things to Mark? Mark is your future husband. You must accept it, like it or not. Without Mark's grandparents, how would you have your comforts today?" Chloe's arm veins stood out, but she stayed silent with bitterness. I stood to the side, tears rolling down, because at that moment, I didn't know if Mr. Harrison was striking her or me. Perhaps both of us were just as trapped. As we left Mr. Harrison's study one after the other, Chloe cornered me against the cold wall. In the dim light, just the pale moonlight filtered through, casting shadows on her furious, chilling expression. "Can't help but run to Mr. Harrison to complain, huh?" she murmured sarcastically. "If you want so badly to marry me, fine. Let's make this engagement happen and make sure neither of us finds any comfort in it. I will show them all how I'll shatter through the boundaries." Her drained, vengeful tears fell on my hand, cold like an unspoken end to a particular sentiment. Chloe also tightened her voice, announcing like a declaration of war, "Mark, from now on, neither of us should ever be happy." I had become a shackle on her escape from family. Control. I knew that once today passed, our gap would be like the Mariana Trench. Unfathomable. The engagement party was grand. Half the city's journalists were there. Those with admission entered the inner hall. Those without surrounded the hotel's exterior. And the lights flashed so bright, making it hard to keep eyes open. On the stage at the center of the ballroom, under the spotlight, countless eyes turned to us. Chloe stood there, looking weary and indifferent. "Mr. Harrison wants me to marry you." She gripped my wrist, pulled my hand towards hers, saying, "Just simply put on the ring." She seemed unconcerned if this would embarrass me. She didn't care anymore, but that ring never slipped onto my finger. Chloe's assistant approached, whispered something to her, and her expression changed. She hastily shoved the ring into my palm, anxiety flickering across her features as she turned abruptly, striding toward the ballroom's exit. Mr. Harrison and Chloe's father shouted in fury, "Chloe, get back here!" But she never looked back. Murmurs filled the room. The eyes of pity and mockery fell on me. Photographers raised their cameras, the flashes making my eyes sting with tears ready to spill. Facing the crowd, I calmly slipped on the engagement ring myself, soothed Mr. Harrison, and managed the chaos with the Vaughns. I did everything perfectly, seamlessly. I was like an emotionless puppet. That night, I became the subject of public ridicule on the finance and entertainment headlines. The Vaughn heir left her fiancé at the engagement party. It surely was gossip to save her. They probably thought I was pitiful, but only I knew. I couldn't be sure if Chloe would break the chains she imagined, but finally, my shackles were broken. The forcibly bound relationship, this absurd engagement party, couldn't reach the end. I'd seen it coming. I received a text from Evan. "Do you really think you'd successfully become Chloe's fiancé? I told you, those without worth remain without worth forever. You're unworthy." I looked at myself in the mirror. Others might see it as striking it rich, but I wasn't happy at all. Receiving Evan's taunting message, I genuinely wished him success. The stylist was doing my hair, and I could only tilt my head back and type slowly, "Then you can just take Chloe away from me." Evan has always been the most important person to Chloe. You see, he really did it. Evan arrogantly sent me a video. In it, Chloe was by his bedside, peeling an apple for him. The light cast a shadow under her long lashes, making it hard to read her emotions. Evan pretended to be remorseful. "Sorry, I couldn't get there in time to congratulate you, and I even got into a car accident on the way, worrying you and ruining your engagement party." Chloe didn't even lift her eyelids. "Don't worry, there will be a next time, and you won't miss it." Evan was taken aback and muttered, "What about Mark? Aren't you afraid he won't marry you anymore? Will, hey?" Chloe paused her cutting, handed the peeled apple to Evan, and chided, "Stop playing with your phone. Eat some fruit." Evan mumbled, sort of agreeing. "You're right. A guy like Mark would love to have you tied to him forever." Chloe gave a mocking smile. The video ended right there. I shoved my phone back into my pocket. But they were both wrong this time. In the living room, Mr. Harrison had just taken some bitter medicine prepared by the family doctor. Lines on his face deepened even more from the taste. I handed him a steaming cup of water, slowly speaking. "Mr. Harrison, I've done enough. Your promises to Grandma, they're unfinished wishes. I fulfilled them all. He spent years in business, so he understood my unspoken words right away. But this time, he had no moral high ground to guilt-trip me. After a long silence, Mr. Harrison finally spoke. "Mark, you're a good kid. It's that girl who's unfortunate." Mr. Harrison looked up at me, testing. "Chloe went too far today. If you really don't want to marry her, take off the engagement ring." The immense weight that had been on my chest crumbled away, turning to dust. I breathed easier. I slowly took off the ring and placed it on the table in the living room. I said, "Mr. Harrison, I don't want to marry Chloe. In fact, I never wanted to marry her. That time at my 18th birthday party, when the piano got smashed, became a recurring nightmare for me. The announced engagement was like a huge weight on my chest, never letting me breathe, and the constant head-to-head clashes with Chloe. No one would wish for such a future. I've lived with the Vaughns for 8 years, and Mr. Harrison watched me grow. Putting aside my relationship with Chloe, he's developed a deep bond with me. This time, he saw my resolve. Tears welled up in his eyes. "Mark, take care of yourself. The Vaughns will always be your home." I gave him a rare, bright smile. "Mr. Harrison, I'm going to pack my things and leave tonight." After a clap of thunder, a sudden downpour, the car moved through the rain like a blur. The air was chilly and damp. I hadn't slept well since the countdown to the engagement. My brain felt foggy, and I realized I'd left the photo with Grandma locked in the drawer. Ever since Evan smashed it once, I hadn't dared to bring it out again. I went back to the villa. The rain was heavy, and my umbrella wobbled in my hand. Struggling to the front door, ready to go in, I heard Chloe's voice. She was home already. "Mark? Where's Mark?" Mr. Harrison chuckled coldly. "Mark's gone." "What about the ring? Why is the ring still here?" "Can't understand. You and Mark aren't getting engaged. Do whatever you want now. Wasn't this your goal all along?" Yet she seemed bemused, whispering, "You just place him beside me as you wish and make him leave when you want? What am I then?" Maybe it wasn't the right time to come back. I gripped the umbrella, ready to turn and leave, when my gaze met Chloe's through the window. She saw me. Her pupils narrowed, and she ran into the rain, staring at me. I couldn't read her emotion. She said, "I knew you wouldn't leave." I shook my head, saying, "Chloe, I'm just here to grab something." With that, I folded the umbrella and walked past her. I greeted Mr. Harrison, went upstairs, and got the photo. When leaving, Chloe blocked my way. She stretched her arm out in front of me, gripping the door frame tightly. "Mark, you can't just leave. Our engagement isn't canceled yet." Mr. Harrison pounded his cane on the ground. "You have no right to get Mark back. No right to say those things." She winced, pulling her arm back. I walked past her without looking back and got into a taxi. This time, I didn't look back at her once. Under the torrential rain, the city blurred into obscurity. The taxi driver drove slowly. Behind us, the roar of a sports car engine echoed through the rain. An expensive sports car was speeding recklessly, horns blaring around it. The driver mumbled in the mirror. "Driving that fast in this rain? Do they think money means nothing can go wrong?" I looked at the familiar car, my right eyelid twitching. Sure enough, the next second, the sports car overtook us, slamming on the brakes and skidding to a stop 5 feet away. The taxi driver slammed on the brakes, narrowly avoiding a crash. He rolled down the window, shouting, "Are you mad? Do you even know how to drive? Fine if you don't care about your life, but others do." Chloe ignored it. She stepped out of the sports car, getting drenched instantly. She stood at my window, her expression hardened and stubborn. "Mark, I won't let you leave." Rarely does she look so out of sorts. Even after fighting with her father and being scolded by Mr. Harrison, she'd never look this way. I lowered the window a bit, shaking my head. I said, "I have to go. The dance company has a show in 2 months, and now that the engagement fuss is over, I need to focus on rehearsing." Maybe it was the pouring rain, but something swirled in her eyes. She slowly reached out her hand, holding the engagement ring I took off. "Take the ring with you." I didn't move. I simply looked at her quietly. I said, "Chloe, I don't want the ring. And I don't want you either." Her forearm tensed, veins popping, suppressing her emotions. Voice hoarse and raspy, she asked, "Mark, are you really going to break off the engagement?" "Yes, Chloe. Let's do each other a favor and let it go. Let's not disturb each other anymore." Wasn't this what she always wanted? Now that the engagement was finally off, I didn't get why Chloe still looked so troubled when facing me. I pushed her arm away, quietly observing her watery eyes. "Chloe, I'll always remember the first time you looked at me. Back then, you didn't hate me. But from now on, let's go our separate ways." The taxi slowly started. Chloe stood in the rain, drenched and motionless. There was a sense of desolation. Our relationship was too complicated. Love and hate can't even begin to cover it. The moment I got into the Vaughns, the wheels of fate started turning. She saw hating me as a way to rebel against her family's plans. Chloe's dad saw me as a tool to control his daughter. Mr. Harrison wanted to fulfill some old promise between him and my grandma. Then there's me, burdened with grandma's wishes and living under someone else's roof, choosing for the so-called big picture. They pushed my fate around like a chess piece. Finally, at the engagement party, Chloe flat out left. She hated me, but she also pushed me forward. I wasn't lying. I really didn't want to marry Chloe. I just didn't have a choice back then. When I got back to the dance troupe, I was greeted with colorful streamers and a big banner. It read, "Congrats to our dance troupe's heart and soul for being single again." The whole internet was buzzing about me and Chloe calling it off. Naturally, they knew all about it. Everyone online said, "Climbing the social ladder isn't easy. Getting dumped was bound to happen." In the dance circle, they knew Chloe left the engagement party because a childhood friend had an accident. It was obvious where her heart was. Online, I got mocked by everyone, but my troupe offered me the most warmth. Sam, who joined the dance troupe with me, came over with a big bouquet. I teased him, saying, "Don't get too excited, Master Dancer." I wiped my tears, apologizing for any drama I might have brought the troupe. Everyone surrounded me, patting my shoulders. "We were worried you'd vanish after becoming a rich heir. Then we'd lose the troupe's soul. Stay single, focus on our troupe, and make it great." There was a huge charity performance planned in 2 months. There'd be big names there, and it'd even be broadcast live on TV. The troupe leaders took it all very seriously. I started practicing day and night. I packed my schedule full so I wouldn't have much time to think. One night, sweating after a practice, I got a call from an unknown number. When I picked up, there was a long silence. Only the sound of deep breathing and slight static on their end. It was chilly outside. I tucked my neck in, speaking as mist left my lips. "Hit me." Fall had arrived so soon. "Chloe, if there's nothing important, I'm gonna hang up." "Don't hang up," she finally spoke, voice muffled and tone odd. She babbled disjointed thoughts. "Mark, I went skiing that day. Bingo passed away, after so many years. Peaceful end. Mark, you weren't my chain. I'm so regretful." "Chloe, that's enough." I gripped my phone tighter, cutting her off. "Get some rest." Just as I hung up, Her voice wavered with urgency. "Mark, I miss you. And our past, really." I blinked up at the city's dim stars, puzzled. But honestly, I didn't miss the past one bit. I was caught up in my life, assuming I wouldn't see Chloe or Evan anytime soon. But on the charity event day, there we were, in the same place again. They were seated front row, special guests for the event. Evan even invested in our troupe. They sat together, not with their usual cozy banter. Chloe looked thinner, worn, with dark circles and chapped lips. Not the Chloe I remembered. She used to dodge these dull shows or parties, so seeing her was surprising but somehow made sense. Perhaps she came for Evan. We stood backstage, ready to go on. Sam noticed Chloe too, and whispered, "What's with this ex-girlfriend coming back to life scene?" His eyes were concerned as he looked at me. "Mark, don't let her mess you up." I shook my head. She won't. In our past tangle of hurt, my heart had found its calm. Lights dimmed. We hit the stage to roaring applause. Breathing steady, I lost myself in the music at the center stage. The performance was a hit. I didn't catch Chloe's eye once. There was an after-show celebration that night, so I couldn't just leave. But the studio felt stuffy, so after removing my costume and makeup, I headed to the restroom to splash my face awake. There, in the mirror, another reflection appeared. Chloe came up behind me. "Mark, can we talk?" I called my tone. "Chloe, talking here might give people ideas." Her voice cracked. "Then, can we step outside?" Hearing the final farewell catch in her careful request, I nodded and followed her out of the building. The wind was biting. I rubbed my hands and breathed warmth into my palms, feeling the chill. Chloe stood straight in front of me, tone bitter. "Mark, do you hate me?" I shook my head, speaking honestly. "No, Chloe. I appreciate your bravery." At the moment of goodbye, people often honestly express what's in their heart. I lacked her courage. The weight of expectations suffocated me. I didn't dare run from the wedding, but she dared to go after what truly mattered to her. I spoke sincerely. "You gave me that push." Surprise crossed her face, and the bare branches and empty road added to her loneliness. It was the first time she seemed lost before me. "I know you're mad. I shouldn't have gone to Evan, but there's truly nothing between us. You hate Evan, but I can avoid him. Mark, when I was most lost, he pulled me through. I have only pure feelings, nothing romantic." She misunderstood. With a sigh, I explained, "I don't like Evan because he bullied me. It's got nothing to do with you. Whether you and Evan have something or not, it doesn't concern me." Her lips turned white. "What do you mean?" I simply smiled, finally burden-free. "And Chloe, I never wanted to marry you. Ever since learning about our arranged marriage, I never dreamed of a life with her. I was just a coward who didn't dare challenge fate's plans. Entangled with Chloe, never did I insist on marrying you. Only mutual love could build a life together." She stepped closer, touching my shoulders, her voice urgent. "And Mark, I love you. But I realize too late. Give me another chance. Please." With a gentle motion, I brushed her hands away. Her tears fell, hot on my skin. But inside, I was calm. "But Chloe, I don't love you. I'm absolutely sure I've never loved you. At a confusing age, I met someone so high and aloof. Her grace made me feel small. Maybe I always admired her from afar. That admiration turned into a tumultuous crush at 16. But by my 18th birthday, that feeling had vanished, destroyed by her disdain. I never dared to look at her again. No matter our past, thank you, Chloe. In the end, you broke my chains for me." She wavered, struggling to stand. For the first time, she realized she and our marriage were chains to me, just as I was a chain in her life. Her past words had cut deep. Now mine might pierce her heart. Chloe, we were once on the same path, but you pushed me to the other side. Turns out, tonight, she came for my sake. After our heart-to-heart, Chloe didn't return for the after-party. Evan, however, showed up. Not only did he come, but he also had the audacity to sit at the head seat in a private room and point fingers at me. "Is this the lead dancer of your troupe? What kind of performance was that? There was a kind of ridiculousness on stage, like not knowing where to step next. Makes you question the troupe skill level." The guy in charge looked at me, hesitant to say a word. After all, the one pointing fingers is Evan, our investor. He's the capital. I smiled, pouring a drink slowly over his head. "Don't know where to jump? How about jumping on your grave?" He screamed, jumped up, and almost slapped me. "Mark, you lost it! How dare you do this to me?" But his hand didn't reach my face. I grabbed his wrist, looking him straight in the eyes, deliberately saying, "Evan, stop bullying me. I'm not a pushover anymore." For many years, I feared losing a family, feared being disliked and causing trouble. So I endured. But now, I'm my own person. Evan couldn't shake off my grip and warned me through gritted teeth. Warning the entire, "You're independent, huh? You just need to know, piss me off and your troupe can kiss its funding goodbye. Mark, think it over. Kneel and apologize. Capital." I pushed Evan back onto the chair. The screeching sound of the chair sliding across the floor was annoying. "I hold 10% of the Vaughn shares. I am capital, too. Those shares were transferred to my name by my grandfather when the Vaughns announced the annulment, to prove he keeps his promises. Now, it gives me confidence." Evan seethed. "Wow, you really did leap up the social ladder from nothing." Evan always looked down on me because of his privileged background. I stared right at him, firm. "The lowly won't always be low, but the dirty will always be dirty. Don't overvalue yourself, Evan." With that, I turned and left. My troop members followed me out. Behind us, Evan's ranting was accompanied by the sound of dishes smashing, echoing in the air like music. That dance we performed at the charity event went viral. Our countless hours of effort paid off. The troupe started, gaining more gigs. As the lead dancer, I became an internet sensation, too. People started digging into my messy past with Chloe again. Sam sent me a link, ranting over voice chat. "What's up with these people? Bringing up old trash just to trash you. Who doesn't have a past?" Out of curiosity, I clicked the link, but it was a blank page. Sam sounded shocked. "The top trending news just vanished. Who pulled such a big move?" Honestly, I didn't know. I didn't care about the gossip and focused on crafting new dance moves. But that night I got the answer. A friend of Chloe called me, getting straight to the point. "Chloe got into a car accident. You should go see her." I was driving, so I casually declined. "I'm no doctor." They laughed sarcastically. "Haven't you punished her enough? You've turned this once proud woman into a shell. Can't you cut her some slack? Didn't she dream of separating? Mark, do you have a heart? She spent $8 million just to take down that news about you." "How did she crash?" "Her friend in the passenger seat mentioned seeing a guy who looked like you. She's got a fractured leg. You should at least visit her, or give her some closure." I paused, then remembered something. "I'm not going. But can you pass something to her for me?" "What's that?" "A badge. Just a badge. Give it back to her, please." I blocked all contact with Chloe. She never reached out like before. I turned 16 and didn't know her. We lived our own separate lives. Her past slowly faded away, forgotten. I thought we'd never meet again. But the truth is, at the pinnacle of success, it's hard not to. When I won the Golden Dance Award, Chloe, as a significant investor, presented the trophy to me. Under the grand chandelier, she wore a refined dress, graceful as ever. Countless cameras flashed. She hugged me, whispering where the mics can't hear. "Mark, congratulations." The next day, Chloe and I were both on newspaper covers. The focus wasn't our past drama anymore. We appeared in different sections. Me, holding my trophy, tears in my eyes, smiling broadly. And Chloe, the youngest billionaire ever. Her company frequently posted new updates on their official account. But Chloe's social media was all about her life. Her new kitten with silky fur, her daring moves at a Nordic ski resort, a red flag fluttering in the wind in front of a shiny red sports car on a racetrack. I guess she finally broke free, embracing her world. Absent-mindedly, I'd like a post. She must have been online because I got a notification. Before I could unlike, Chloe sent a message. "Mark, I still owe you an apology. It was never you who held me back. I wrongly blamed you." I looked at the bright sky outside, slowly typing. "Chloe, stop apologizing. My world is already bright and clear."
Bettone, buongiorno. Buonasera. Come ti senti quest'oggi? È sempre un po' meglio, oggi sono andato al lavoro. Perfetto. Sono andato al lavoro, quindi sì, abbastanza... cioè... siamo strong. Allora, io tornerei indietro per andare all'inizio. C'era una tizia pazza nelle scale, ora vediamo. Dovrei anche esplorare questo posto. Te come stai in posizione? Bene, bene, dai. Sono tornato ora a casa e ho detto why not? Perché non dovrei fare una live? Che in realtà stamattina io ho detto a Spardina, vuoi Leon o Bloodborne? Senza contesto. Anzi no, preferisci Leon o Bloodborne? E lei mi ha detto Bloodborne. Damn. E chi se l'aspettava? I folli si affannano furtivamente in rituali per chiamare la luna. Sì, questo l'ho fatto. La tizia dovrebbe essere sotto delle scale.